Hi guys, Amar here. In this short video I'm looking to talk about fatherless sons and how it causes men to really lose their sense of a masculine identity. So I'll just jump straight into it. The reason I decided to make this video is because it's something which I have personally experienced and gone through, and something which I think I've finally started to overcome, or I've managed to deal with it. Now, it's very common, unfortunately, in this day and age where families are fatherless, where there's no positive male role model, the father doesn't stay around, it's become a bit of an epidemic. So we have young men growing up with no real idea of what it is to be a man and masculine and how we need to be in the world. So without this guidance and modelling, we just have to guess. And it's not easy, and I don't think many people can actually guess how to be a man and portray these masculine traits. So yeah, I'll just explain my situation and how I've kind of dealt with it and where it's got me to where I am now. So for me, growing up personally, my family was broken. So I hardly grew up without my dad. He used to work abroad. I maybe seen him once a year or once every 2 years for a week maybe. And he drinks, he's got an alcoholism issue. He was quite abusive and negative and not a great person to be around as a child. And for me growing up, I think it really painted masculinity in a really bad light, because as children, the first real male figure we recognize or see generally is our father or our dad. And if that figure is portrayed negatively, we kind of disidentify or repress, or we don't get a true reflection of what masculinity is. There's guys who are sort of the nice guy and pushovers, and then we have the other extreme of guys who are really aggressive and fight and just arseholes really. So we've got these two extremes, and the balance of real masculinity is somewhere in the middle of these two extremes. So going back to my story, so yeah, father was drunk, abusive emotionally, physically sometimes, and just give me a really bad negative perception of men. So when I was growing up in school, obviously it was difficult, it was tough, but you don't really miss something you've never had. So you just get on with it. The hardest thing for me was sometimes when people used to talk about their fathers and not being able to really connect and know what they were actually talking about. So other than that, it wasn't too bad. Funnily enough, in sort of high school, the group of friends I had, about 4 or 5 of us, none of us had our fathers around, which I didn't actually realise until after I left school a few years later, that we had something in common and we become quite close friends. And so strange that was the thing that kind of brought us together. It was like something in us was missing, but whatever it was brought us together. So when we grow up and we don't have this positive figure, we don't learn, we don't know how to be men. We don't know how to portray masculine traits in a positive, healthy and balanced way. So what we do, or this is what I did, we look for an identity outside of ourselves to fill that void which wasn't filled through positive male role model or positive father. So in my experience, I kind of got into like rap culture and hip hop culture, and I kind of took on that persona of like these rappers that, oh yeah, I need to degrade women and be big and tough and violent and aggressive and all these kind of masculine, well, they are masculine traits, but they're an extreme form of it. And this is an identity I took on because I didn't know what it meant to be a positive man and show these qualities. So taking on that identity is really negative, and it got me into trouble. Like, I used to think it was clever to fight. I used to think it was good to kind of be violent and aggressive, and I see it so often, especially in my hometown. You see it all the time. It's crazy that the young men go around, and even older men go around thinking that they need to show some kind of aggressiveness over others, and they think they're being dominant by doing this, but it's not dominance, it's more immaturity. And the other identity I kind of took on was like bodybuilding. I really got into exercising, working out, and I really built myself up to be quite big. And obviously it's an extreme form of masculinity. It's like big man. On the outside I looked like a big man, but on the inside I wasn't. But it's just kind of what I was looking to portray. And I think a lot of people now, obviously with the fitness world and bodybuilding being so big, a lot of people get hooked on it for that reason, because inside they don't feel worthy and they don't feel like masculine men, so they latch on to these different identities. So how did I sort of find my identity as a man, or how am I working on that? Fortunately for me, I've been in contact with my dad for forever, since I was a baby, even though I didn't see much of him. So I just went and stayed with him for a month. And he lives abroad, he works, he has a business, and he lives in a real man's world. So he's surrounded by guys. It's just a man's world where they live. And for me to kind of go there and live there for a month in a totally different country, now I'm realizing that I got a lot out of it. I started to see other men and how they act with one another and how they behave. And I actually learned that my dad, obviously he has negative traits, but he has a lot of positive traits as well, and positive traits which I've kind of seen in myself, stuff that I never really owned. And he's actually quite a strong man. And I mean, if he'd been around to raise me, it would have been really good, obviously, but it's good to kind of be able to identify with his positive qualities. So I think if you've kind of been brought up without your father, if you have any opportunity to reconnect with him and explain to him why, because you're lacking something in yourself and you can only get that from him, hopefully he has the heart to kind of try to fix that. And if you don't have that option, then you just need to try and find a positive male role model. I tried to find a positive male role model, a mentor, but I kind of struggled. So I'm just going to try and spend as much time with my dad as I can, even if I have to go out my way to do it, because I've seen how much it's helped me and will continue to help me. And his friend, the cool thing was his friends kind of liked me, so I felt esteemed by other men. I was acknowledged and respected by these other men who were quite successful guys. So it felt like there was a void in me, which is being filled up to a little bit by being able to find that masculine essence in my father and connect with it. And it's kind of, like I said, it's filled a void in me which has been lacking, and I just feel more myself. And there's something that we need to do as men is to really find our masculine identity by doing something like this. And I know it's not easy for everyone, but I wish I'd done it a lot sooner. So I just wanted to share my experience. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Please hit a like, subscribe for more videos. Thank you. Bye.